Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So if we take a look here, this basically we have changed not a price tag more from when we opened on this since our last update here, but if we go into this, just to recap, we are holding this 382 level of the diagonal pitch fan we've had in the charts since January 16th or so, and it's been respecting these levels nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in on these hits here. Is this each time you hit this, is it knocking on the door to come lower into the Hail Mary 1618 of the bearish trend base fib extension level, or is it looking to bounce and start to reclaim some of these heights? As the FUD is in the air and people possibly are afraid to long, are they going to capitalize that in a similar fashion as they did on Friday, March 10th with the Silicon Valley Bank failure and the rise up out of that when people were in disbelief? So is there going to be some sort of Binance surge to try to protect their assets as the SEC tries to reclaim some of their US customer assets? Let's go into the heat map for High Block Capital. What is that? That's when people lock their liquidity in the charts to be burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters lie, shall we? Let's go right on into the 1 minute time frame. So since we last updated here, they did come back into this let's see exactly where that came down to. Let's go into, looks like okay, so we came down into these regions, took out some of the pools here since we last talked, basically came back to the equilibrium point, and it looks like we are starting to head back into the 100x pools as usual. We wicked off this $52 million 100x pool here and possibly heading lower into the 43 pool that these three candles they opened up into these three candles as they took out the short liquidity. So they just ping pong off of that one after another. We're $5 billion in short liquidity imbalance as we lose a lot to Father Time, but these areas up here in the 27.4 region were caked up quite nicely too, so lest we forget, those areas are still all open most likely. So these pools up at the 26.964 region are looking juicy in a stacked up region, lest we forget these 50x guys, which will disappear into the ether thanks to Father Time, and we will forget that this was ever stacked. But are we going up to this region? We did lay out that scenario for you for the False Move Monday in the New York session. Let's expand our vision to the higher time frame of the heat map level of the 7-day and beyond. We'll do this quick because we did an update during Asia session, so we'll just take a look at the 7-day and reiterate that there is a slight imbalance to the upside here up at the 26.7 region on the 7-day time frame, and beyond everything caked up nicely, although slight imbalance to the upside, not necessarily large. When you start to expand your vision to the higher time frame of the monthly, you start to see these pools looking juicy down below at the 24.5, 24.3 and 24.2 region. Are they trying to create a scenario to capitulation with these people? It could be the case if there is more FUD stories to be released on the table. Here is the higher time frame of the 63, 6200, basically $200 billion all the way down to 24.2 could be taken out for the kill. There's less above than below, so this insinuates that they could go lower on the 3-month and 6-month time frame. If we go to the 6-month time frame and zoom in and just see what's above and below in the immediate price range, you do have 13 billion at 26.7 and 10 billion at 27 even, and if you go down just below, you get that 69 billion at 24.9. So are they going to go up to go down? Are they going down to go up? What is the scenario today as we enter into a lot of volatile news this week with the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Are we going to see some sort of interesting thing? The deadline for Binance to give their response about the commandeering of the US customer assets is due today, so we'll see some sort of news play drop in their response for that, most likely in the charts. 132 billion down at 24.8, 148 billion at 24.4 on the yearly time frame. You could see this divergence spawned off this. This is definitely looking like it could continue lower on that yearly time frame. When we go to the 2-year time frame, you start to see the other reclaimed pools that we were talking about in the morning today, and how this is thicker up here in the $160 billion region up at 32.4. So the marionette strings to the upside are not to be ignored. At some point they will come up to this, as they have in the past. So are they going to stop out some of these characters down here at the 24.4 region and start to peel out to these characters? It would seem like if they're not already satisfied with what they've knocked off the table here with the 100 billion at 25.2, then they could just continue to take those guys out. Let's go into the monthly, as it has more of a narrative to which pool exactly the 24.5 and 24.2 regions down below here. So let's go see if this warrants it on our oscillators in the Binance chart. Let's take a look where we have them. Hopefully the connection has stabilized since the typhoon. I did call up the internet company and sort out some technical difficulties on the stream capabilities and limiting it so it doesn't jitter. So hopefully the jitteriness some of you experienced has dissipated completely, I hope. Okay, so we did see a drop here, but that was basically just after the stream. We were saying it was going to go up, and it did not. It dropped down further and held this golden pocket region, and we started to see a peel out thereafter. If you are seeing an area of interest here, if you missed this one, you could have taken a second divergence play out of here. If we look at our oscillators, there is bullish divergence on the money flow here. Sorry about that, this is getting cramped up. Or on the RSI rather, which played out on the hourly time frame. So we can remove this. We're going to reassess, but the pool lying in wait up here is still there at 26,443. So could we see that if we start to hold this one level of the bearish trend base fib? Are we starting to see this shoulder, head and shoulder out to this region? That would most likely coincide with the measured move of that idea if we were to go up to that region. But I'm jumping the gun. Let's go to the higher time frame and see how our oscillators are holding by throwing on our suite. This is Momentum Master, link in the description for more. MomentumMaster.info. Scroll down to the features and all that fun stuff. Toggle it at your leisure. See everything nicely put together, or the components in their glory. So today we're going to look at how the hourly cloud is holding and start to make our narrative to the other time frames. We're currently getting a rejection of the cross-up idea here, getting negated off the hourly time frame as we start to come back down into the cloud. Money flow and RSI holding in the 50 level ambiguously, could go either way here. The KD cross down of the stochastic RSI meandering and wondering if it could dump down to the 50 level or continue higher at this momentous level at 80 as it enters the overbought region. All right, let's turn this down. It's a little bit too prominent. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start our descent through the time frames. From the daily, we already went over how the 3-day looks kind of bullish in terms of the money flow, so we're going to look at that. We are currently also holding the weighted moving average on the daily time frame, which also coincides with that pitch fan level we were talking about, ironically enough. Confluence on confluence there. So are we starting to see this try to maintain this level? The baselines are getting a rejection here on the daily time frame. Unless you can make a level above this, this could act as a suppression to continue lower. You are still seeing some potential downside suppression of the money flow here on the stochastic RSI and the Williams, as it has not reached the oversold status level on the daily time frame. If we go to the 3-day that recently closed with the weekly, this is the thing that is kind of interesting to note. You're holding this, potentially holding this cloud, which is thickening as positions enter here perhaps, and you're getting the 200 weighted moving average bounce potential, and the 3-day also in this oversold status. So the 3-day looking juicier than the daily. Could you have this subtle support of the 3-day onto the daily time frame in the next 3 days? Is the 3-day going to be gracious enough to grant an upside potential as everyone gets into that FOMC mindset? The cloud is not changing its angle, it's actually changing up, suggesting that we see some sort of bounce here on the 3-day time frame. Interesting to note this thickness increasing in this region as we come back to it. This also coincides with the super trend, which is holding quite nicely here. If we make it beneath this level at the 25-2 region, start closing candles beneath it, then you know where we're heading, down into this 618 pocket region perhaps, and the Hail Mary regions as well, and then we could see a bearish retest possibly lower. So we're going to take for that 5-day also is closing in 2 days time, so it's 5 days coinciding with the 3-day in 2 days. So we'll see this 5-day in action. We're still seeing this thickness of the cloud not changing its angle so much as we continue on the bullish narrative, despite coming back on the retrace idea. Are we starting to see this narrative of the cloud starting to continue to the upside? This angle is showing still the bullish nature, even though we're retracing that this could continue. The one thing to note is the suppression of the baselines, which is nicely closing above the price each time, showing that this cross down event is still in play as a contradiction to the upside potential. If we go to the daily time frame, we're talking about this angle of the daily cloud starting to potentially shift here. It's been slowly shifting its angle over time here, so if we can maintain this and start to curve this in a manner here alongside the 12-hour time frame, I believe it is. Let's see. Yes, the 12-hour. So if the 12 and the daily start to get this curve here, this could suggest some sort of narrative shift at this point. We have preempted moves like this before with angles such as this, which brought us to the upside. So are we going to see this kind of stabbing of the cloud at some point in time and then kind of retrace this and go? This puts you at about Wednesday, New York open time. Is that possible? If you see this cloud shifting. Or we could just continually dump this down and this angle continues in this manner. The angle at the top is also starting to shift in a certain manner here. Are we going to see some sort of narrative shift at some point? We are getting the cross. We had the cross up event on the 6-hour. We are also getting it on the 12-hour here. We have the price beneath the the baselines beneath the price. What are the baselines? Well, ooh, hi there. They are your first sign of reversal, and when they hold beneath the price, that is a good sign for long potential on the 12-hour time frame. Let's see how our oscillators also take to the idea. We are seeing some bullish divergence on the 12-hour time frame here. RSI, this is you're getting this bullish divergence on the RSI, potentially speaking here. Okay, and let's go, that's on the 12-hour time frame. And then if we go to the 22. We're also getting the baselines beneath the price, as we pointed out earlier today. There we go. But we're just beneath the thin boy baseline. We have to go above the fat boy before it starts to curve this line for a potential cross-up event. We are getting the cross-up, as we said, on the, well, not quite yet on the 12-hour, but that potential could be in. It's already happening on the 6, as noted by this here. We crossed up and we are still holding the baselines here on the 6-hour time frame. So what are we seeing? Are we potentially seeing a 6-hour play to the upside? The money flow in the RSI suggests that could happen. Williams also in an oversold status for that potential push as well, as we start to descend into the 4-hour. The 4-hour also crossing up and holding the baselines in a manner which could suggest coming up to those pools. We did talk about earlier today how this is going potentially sideways with that overbought potential also coming in. We were back here when this line was curving, saying we could come lower. However, we are now starting to get above ever so slightly, but the amount in which we have changed to get from this 0 to overbought level is one potential bearish sign on the 4-hour. Also, you're getting this shift, which now is shifting back to selling. Are there players exiting positions here, causing this cloud to meander between two zones here on the 4-hour? You are starting to reclaim this one level in potential speaking, which could lead you up to the cloud and this pool of the 1 minute time frame, guys. We were talking about up here at 471, the 482 region. This kind of pooled liquidity up here at the 26445 region, $138 million in 50x, also pooled quite nicely with all these other pinged liquidity pools here. So we could see ourselves come up to that region at least to test the top of the range. And if we get the rejection off the trend-based, the super trend here, then it could just continue to the downside. The 4-hour getting overbought here is not something I'm too pleased with for a long idea. Also, the cloud on the 1-hour is lackluster at best, as you're seeing this already start to curve here. Are you starting to run out of steam and see this haphazard bounce potential? The cross down event is still in play. We are getting this potential suppression on the hourly as the hourly potentially fizzles out. So we're getting some mixed signals here as we enter the Binance answer day of reckoning for the SEC subpoena. Volatile week for sure inbound. Where is it going to go? Up and down, down and up. That is the question here. We're seeing some meandering and rejection of the cloud here from Asian session. We had a hard rejection back into this golden pocket, reclamation back up. We're just seeing some consolidation here. Is this cloud potential starting to meander back up again? The 15-minute has reset here, but you still have potential to come down on the Williams. New York has opened. We have about 15 minutes for the actual open. I have to get into the charts for the NASDAQ in a minute, but I just thought I would see if there's anything I can glean in the meantime. So if we look here, even within fractal-like nature, you could see this kind of kiss to the cloud and continuation on the 15-minute to potentially flip that hourly for that shoulder, head and shoulder out of here. It is kind of a messy consolidation here, but we are making this potential ascent on the 4 and 6 hour that could push that 1 hour back up to this pool. I still think we're going to this pool based on the liquidity and the other oscillators of the higher time frame. So I don't think that we are necessarily going down. We could wick down and give you another entry or two, or a double bottom, like you could see something similar to this before heading up into this region. All right, so I already gave a pretty comprehensive thing of total and all that fun stuff in the earlier Asian stream. Sorry if you missed it. So we will just keep it short but sweet as it stands right now. The hourly is not in a thick manner. It's kind of meandering back and forth, kind of giving an impression of weakness. You could see this as a double top coming down, but this could come down to just go up in your face. This is false move Monday. Be aware of the week ahead, and the Binance news could drop at any time. They're due to respond to the thing. Their deadline is today. So please keep that in mind as you take a look at the charts and trade safe. Ladies and gents, I must call it a short stream because I have to go to check out the NASDAQ and see if there's anything worth trading. So I will catch you on the flip side. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the precision, the accuracy, and all that fun stuff. Once again, thank you for coming on in, and I will catch you on the flip side. Catch you in the Discord.